We are here again today on Sunday, 8 p.m. and we are going to do the Vanilla JS app, wherein we would tell you whether your birthday is a palindrome or not. We are waiting for folks to join and then we will start. Today we'll be live coding with Kushank and we'll tell about Kushank more once folks join in. Hi Kushank.
Yeah.
3 people here, waiting for more to join. Give us a second. We're just waiting for more folks to join and then we'll start the exercise. For some reason, Discord notifications are broken. I don't understand why. Why? Notifications broken. Not sure. Anyway, I hope folks are joining. Let me just check. We have around 30 people now. Discord notif. Yes, I have put it on Discord, but the notif is not going. It's not showing to a lot of people. I don't know why. Some problem with Discord actually. For some reason, still just sending it like out of 17,000 people, it's just it's limiting. It's rate limiting for us.
Yeah.
50 people are here. Hello, hello, hello. 50, 52. We'll just wait for more people. Mark 12 complete. Rahul says, excited for new project today. Wow. Great, Rahul. Kushi says, hello. Hi, Kushi. Sumitawa says, can you solve those subsequence problems? What subsequence problem? Ankit is saying, good evening, Tanay. Good evening, Ankit. Hello, Gia. We are waiting for more folks to join in so that we can start with everyone.
Yeah.
Finally, Mark 13. I was stuck in it for a long time.
It's gonna be great now.
Yesterday also, a lot of people were saying during the live that, you know, we are stuck on Mark 13. Palindrome problem.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. 94 folks have joined. Nishant says, done with Mark 14, still here to learn and like. Such awesome session. Yeah, these live sessions are amazing these days. No doubt about it. Thank you for this, Mark 13. Thank you. You are welcome. Pop out chat. Let me do the chat. And I am working on Angular. Should I switch to React? No.
Definitely.
Definitely. Huh? Okay. Don't need to switch. You can do React and Angular both.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are getting job, you can do that. You don't need to switch. I would not say anyone that they should switch, but yes, React has more jobs. I need to check what's broken on the server. Why is it not going to everyone? Something is broken. I'm not sure what. We'll figure it out later. Hello, sir. Much needed live. Like. Kushi is saying like. Yes, Kushi, thank you. You're the best. You're east or west. Kushi is the best. You finally attending a live pair programming. Neha, why did you miss the other ones? We have 115 people. We are waiting for a few more folks to join in. Because the notification goes a little slowly. It doesn't go like to everyone at once. Trevor says, good evening, Tanay. Hey, Trevor, good evening. Gia is saying, hello, Kushank Priya.
Hi, Gia.
Hi, Gia. Spider, yes, done with Mark 15. Still learn new things every live. Yes, you see how other people are solving the problem. That's why I really like live coding, because even though you know the answer, you still get to
Mhm.
learn a lot. Thank
Especially when we
you.
stumble upon a problem and then we fix it, that is
Yeah.
the learning point.
How she camps name to NGO camp. Neeraj, just Google not NGO camp, Google Neog camp, and you will get all your answers. Hi Kushank, excited for today's session. Shivani is also here. Is Arpita here today? Arpita is my new favorite. She has done everything, but she comes just to like the video. Hello Kushank, how's your life after placement? How's your life after placement? Kushank Ali is asking.
Life's great. Just
That's great.
dramatic shift. Yeah.
What's the biggest shift you have seen in your life after placements? You were
My
coding
health,
before, you're coding now also, right?
my health has improved, and
Huh.
I'm coding like even more. Some days I'm coding even more, and yeah, I like not every day, but some days I'm coding even more.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they making you work a lot?
No, 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 no. Not. It's not like that. No.
Awesome. Yeah, Arpita is also here. Said I said hello, sir. Yeah, Arpita, I saw it. Thank you. अभी EXE saying कुशांक भैया हमें भी हाय बोलिए जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन क्यों अरे उसने जिया ने हाय बोला तो that's why he said hi. You also say hi, he will say hi to you. What is this? Utkarsh is saying excited. Utkarsh, I'm excited as well. Thanks for keeping it on Sunday. Good to see you live. Sarvajit says yes. Good to see you live as well. Aditya is saying, hi Tane, you didn't come for Park Live today. Yes, yeah, I missed today morning. Actually, I had a meeting with Cars 24 CTO. They wanted to
Okay.
hire through Neoji. Okay,
That's
and
great.
that meeting was at 9 a.m. So I thought even if I go to Park, I wouldn't be able to go live. So then I didn't do that. But that's what's happening these days. I'm meeting a lot of CTOs and CEOs because आप लोगों ने हमारा नाम रोशन कर दिया है Unacademy में जाकर. So now everybody wants like Neo G grads, Neo grads.
Mhm.
You are an inspiration for me, Kushank Bhaiya, Sunny Raj. Kushank, you are an inspiration for a lot of people actually. So Sheil is asking, what's an interesting thing you have learned during the term of your new job? हाँ बताओ तो ये तो अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा.
Um, I have learned a lot of uh, things that I would not do in my code, but is required in production.
Okay.
Like there is something called dangerously set in a HTML in React, right?
Hmm.
They do this in production, and I would never do this in my code. So like these are some small nitty gritty things I've learned, and I'm learning more. And because the code base is huge, so it's taking time for me to adapt. But yeah, every day I'm learning something somewhere, like some is something in code base, something in APIs and all these things. So it's like a ever learning opportunity.
Yeah, I think first 6 months it's every day new learning, and
Yeah.
then and lifetime challenges will be there after that.
Sure.
So a lot of people, Shivani is saying, sir, I'm really nervous for level 1 interviews. What and how should I prepare? How should people prepare, Kushank? What's your answer for that?
I think the best way to prepare is to do mock interviews with each other, with peers.
Yep.
Set up mock interviews with each other and have fun.
Why people want to interview you? There are so many questions. uh, how how about Neo-G Merc? We would love to buy that if you launch. Array, someday. I don't know. There is so much work right now. I'm drowning in
Yeah.
work with all of it. Merc and all people do when like they want to market and all. Like yahan to already demand is from other side. Satyavachan Rahul Tak. Kushank, to be fair, did you had any tech stack knowledge before Neoji Camp? Shashikant is asking.
I had AIML, Python, these things. Yeah.
Ashish is saying like count is too low. Guys, like the video. So we are 10 minutes into the video. I think everyone who should be here is here. Let's get started. Kushank, tell us what you are going to do today. You want to show your
Okay.
screen? Let me give you
Yeah.
screen share, and then you can get started.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Let me know about that video issue. Is my video hampering the screen? And that is okay. I think it's okay, right? Then
Your screen itself has not started. It came just now. Okay.
okay,
The video thing, let me see that. Give me 1 second.
sure.
It will take like 2 seconds for that to come up. Because there's a lag between the live and let's see. Your screen has not come up yet on YouTube. There's still a lag. People would tell us in the comments, no worries. Yes, it's okay.
I think it's okay. Like I have thought about it, so that's why I have arranged it.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So today we are building this app called Palindrome Birthday, where you will enter your birthday, and if your birthday is a palindrome string, then you will get a message that yes, it is a palindrome. Otherwise, you will find the next palindrome birthday. It could be in future or it could be in past also, whichever is short. And you will also find how many days you missed for that palindrome birthday. Okay. So first of all, we'll start with the logic part, then we'll go with the UI part. Okay. The tech stack is very simple, very minimal CSS. I've just used CSS to put dark mode so that we can code easily without infestation, and the whole logic is on JavaScript and very simple HTML. We are not doing any much of HTML. We just have an input element and a simple button. Okay. And yeah, I have explained this one, so I'll quickly show you the app how it looks, then we'll start working on it. So this is a very simple app, and here is the input. Now suppose you choose a birth date anywhere and you click on show, then it will show the nearest palindrome date is 2/11/2020. You missed by 20 days. Then what means that if you go 20 days in, I guess, future, let's say 10, you missed by 8 days. Now we go 8 days more. I think it's 20. Not 20, then it must be, okay, it's here. Yeah. So it's this is how you find that palindrome birthday. So suppose you were born on, let's say, February, and I think this is a palindrome date. Yeah. Now you'll see, yeah, your birthday is palindrome. If it is not palindrome, then we'll do some calculation and we'll find the next palindrome date and also the days by which we missed that date. Okay. So this is a very short overview, and let's get to the coding. So first of all, we'll start with building the logic, then we'll then go to the function, the UI. Okay. And first of all, we need to write a JavaScript function that takes a string and reverses it. Okay. And we can use inbuilt functions like split, reverse, and join. I will start my yeah, here's my code. Okay. So let's write a function reverse str. It will take a string. And now that we have this string, we just want to let's say we'll have a variable reverse string reverse str for now we just need to check the wiring and all, so we'll just return this one. And let's console log this one. Okay. So basically, we are just checking if everything is working fine. We are getting the console right here. I'll decrease this window because we are not working on the UI part for now. We are just working on the console part. So now we are getting undefined. Now let's work on it. So first of all, we need to break the string into array of characters. So we'll have like a list of chars. And how do we do that? We can use the inbuilt split method, and we split by characters, like empty string. So it will give us a list split of characters. Okay, list of characters. And what we now we have a list of characters. So it looks something like this, something like HE. So it looks like this. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to reverse this. Okay. So how do we reverse this? Is that we have another variable, reverse list of chars, and we can use the inbuilt method called reverse. Fine. Now that it has been reversed, we need to join them. And how we need to join them? The same way we split them. We need to join them with an empty string. So each character is joined without any space or any other extra characters. They are joined just all together. How do we do that? We can just say we give an array and we just do a dot join, and we can just give it an empty string. The same way we did the split, the same way we do the join. Now if I run this, you can see this is being reversed. Okay, so we have built our reverse string function. And for your information, all of this can be done in single line. I have broken it into smaller pieces so that you can easily understand the whole logic. If you want to do it in one line, you can do something like this. Return str dot split, and then you do a reverse, and then you do a join. So both ways, this will also work. You can check. If I comment this out and I return this, this is also working. So both ways are similar. This is just a short way of doing it. Let's have this one so that we can refer them back if anything goes wrong. Okay, so with this, our first exercise, write a function that takes a string and reverses it, is completed. Now let's move to the next exercise, which is write a JavaScript function to check for palindrome. Okay, now I'm hoping that everyone knows what a palindrome is. Can I get some suggestions in the comment? Like what are the palindromes in your mind? Do you have palindromes in your mind?
Yep. On the chat window, please give us an example of a palindrome. Let's see.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this live, please like the video. Anupam Singh is saying he doesn't know what a palindrome is. So he's saying no.
Okay.
And Khushi is saying 243. And Status Top is saying Oppo. Wow. Madam.
Okay, wow, that's nice.
Malayalam 101. Malayalam Nitin.
Oh.
ABCBA.
That's great.
SAS. SAS is a
I think
palindrome.
one is the my favorite palindrome is race car. I didn't know about this, but yeah.
Archit said race car. Then there is dad, mom and dad are, or Vikataka Kavi. Bhai Sahab, where do
I
you
think that
get
that's enough. That's enough, I guess.
where do you get this? Dhanush, Vikataka Kavi? None. My God.
Okay.
LOL is also a palindrome. Never thought
Yeah.
about it, but these words are palindrome. Radar, civic.
Yeah.
So a lot of people now know what a palindrome is. Uh, just the same number from both sides. Yes, that's palindrome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Let's build this palindrome function. So what we need to do is first we need to get the reverse of string. We are getting the string as parameter. Okay. And we'll store the reverse in a variable. And let's use our reverse function that we built above to get this. So we can just pass the string and we have the reverse here. Now we need to check. So we can do it this way, or we can just do return or okay, let's do it the if way so that we have better clarity. We need to check if the current string which we are getting as a parameter is equal to this reverse. If it is true, we return true, or else we return false. Okay, let's check if these things are true. Great. So our palindrome function is working, and let's have something other than that, which is not a palindrome. So as you can see, our palindrome function is working, and I'll just quickly optimize it so that we have better code. So what we can do is just, we don't need to do all of that since this is a Boolean value itself. We can just return this one also, and this will work fine. So our palindrome function is ready. I'll run it again. Okay. And I'll just remove these. So for until here, our reverse function is working perfectly, and also our palindrome is working perfectly. Okay. So let's move to the next exercise. Exercise 2 is done. And let's move to the next exercise. Write a function that converts date from number to string. So actually, this is a helper function that we will use somewhere in our other bigger functions that we will build later in this tutorial. Okay. So what we need to do is, I'll clear this console logs. Let's create a date object. We'll have a day. Let's say 5, month. Let's say 9, and here 20. Okay. Now this date is in number. We want to have a string so that because all of the things we will do by changing different formats for the having different formats for the date so that we can calculate, we can find its reverse and palindrome, that all will be done over strings. Okay. So we need to transform this into a string, but we need to take care of these things. Like if the date is less than 10, we need to add a 0 before it. If the month is less than 10, we need to add a 0 before it. Okay. So let's build that function, and that function we can name it convert date to string str. Okay, this will take a date object, which will be an object of which will be an object something like this. I'll move it below so that we have better clarity. Okay, now what we need to do is we'll have a variable, let's say date in string. Okay, this will be a simple object. We can have day here. For now we'll keep it empty, and we can have month here so that we can easily use this object to build our date. Okay, now if the day is if the date dot day, which is the date we are getting from the parameter, is less than 10, what we can do is date str dot day, which is the string day, because here you can see it's str. We need to append 0 to this. Okay, how do we do that? We can just add a string, because when we add a string to a number, the whole thing is converted into a string. Okay, So we'll just use that thing, and we have the day here. So I'll just do a day here, and else we can just do date str dot day is equal to date dot, which is the date in number. Now we need to convert this into a string. Okay, so we'll just use the inbuilt toString method. Okay, and this way our date is done. We'll do exactly the same for month. So I can just copy the whole thing and I can just paste right here, and I'll just change the day to month, because the same logic applies to month also. And yeah, so we have day. If day is less than 10, we add 0, otherwise we have the same day. If month is less than 10, we add 0, otherwise we have the same month. I need to change here also. And we'll do for year, we can just do, we get the year in number, and we can just do a dot toString on it. So this way our string object is built. Now we can just return data str. Okay, so let's test this, and I can test it here. The function's name is convert date to string. Okay, well, I'll pass this the date which is in number, and I'll console log it. So as you can see, the day was 5, but we got 05, which is okay, and month is 09. So I'll check this and I'll give it 15 so that we know 0 is not getting added again. So here our from number to string function is working, and with that our exercise 3 is also complete. And now I would just quickly fold these functions. You can also do that. Like, I like to keep the whole editor clean. So if you have built a function, you can just click here and you can fold it so you have better clarity on the screen. And let's move on to the next one. So our next exercise is write a JavaScript function that takes a date and returns all variations of it. Okay, so this is the function where we'll use our helper function which we just created, which is to convert the date from number to string. Okay, so let's move to that exercise. So in this function, you can see that there are 6 date formats. Okay, we'll check for palindrome on each of the formats. Okay, so in order to check for them, we first need to generate them, and this is the function that will generate that and will return it. Okay, so let's move on and let's build that one. I'll name that function get all date formats, and I'll get the date. Now the date is a number here. Date is in number, so we'll have a date strs, and we can use our function which is just built. So here until here you can see that this date str is a date which has an object like this one. Okay, and because we used our function, we got it that way. Now we have some formats to take care of. What are the date formats? The first 3 are dd, mm, yyyy. The second is mm, dd, yyyy. The third is yyyy, mm, dd. Fourth is dd, mm, yy. And fifth is mmddyy, and the sixth one is yy mmdd. Let me check that again.
Hey Kushank,
yeah,
people are saying code wrap. How do we do code wrap in this?
Yeah. So this folding you can do two ways. You can either click on this plus one, or you, is that the code wrap? Are you talking about the word wrap thing?
Yeah, word wrap, but I think it's not needed.
Uh, it's not word. I think they are talking about this folding. Is that it?
Okay, I'm not sure. Just saw a comment. Cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, yeah. So this you can do it on Windows. You can just use Control Shift and the square bracket, right? Then it will fold. Even on Mac, you can do Command Option, and that then it will fold. Okay. So let's build our variations of date.
So one
So
question from Parul is, sorry,
yeah,
is to why a zero is appended to dates and months less than
yeah.
10?
Okay. Yeah. So for that, let's say you have a date like this. Okay. And this is your day. Now this is your month. This is your month, and this is your year. Okay. So the issue is that if we don't append zero to it, then we want that the issue will be that if we don't append zero with in on it, we won't be able to check the palindrome exactly. Okay, we might miss some cases of palindrome, because a zero could be here also, and a zero could be here also, and also that's not a valid date format. If we remove the zero, that's not a valid date format. So for with those things in mind, I have used zero in it. You can even try removing the zero and see if you get palindromes. That is also okay. But with these things in mind, like the date format and the palindrome, I have kept zero in it. Is that okay? That answers your question.
Yep, yep. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. So we'll be building this string, and we can use our own string date object. We'll use date str.month and date str.year. Okay. And similar way, we can build other things also. We can do date str.month. We just need to switch places. We have month first, then we have day, then we have the same year. And similar way for this one also, we have year at first, then we have month, then we have date. Now for this one, we need to have just the last two parts of the date. Okay. So sorry, the last two parts of the year. So for date and month, it's the same thing. So I'll just copy this one and paste it right here. For date and month, it's same, but for the year, we can test it right here. So if if the year is 2011, and if I do a slice on it, and we want to get the last two indexes. Okay, so I can just do -2 on it, and you can see we can get 11. This way we can use this dot slice -2 to get the last two digits of the year. Okay, so you can test it, and like you can experiment with it, then you can come to a conclusion that yes, this is working, because you don't know before that. Okay, so experiment with it, then you will know that yeah, this thing works. So I'll just do a dot slice on it with -2, and let me have more room here. So similar way, we can do this. Str.month, day, and the same thing. Date str year dot slice -2. Okay, and we can have that year here. Then we have month. Then we have day. Okay. Now, until here, we have all the variations built. Now we'll return this in an array so that we can iterate over it. We can do more iterations on it. We can actually run our is palindrome function on all of them so that we can find out if any of them is a palindrome or not. Okay, let's return this. So we can just quickly return it as an array, and we can just copy and paste all of them here. Y, and dd, and y. Okay. So this way we have our get all dates format, get all date formats function ready. Okay, let's test this. So similar way before, we have our date object, which is in number actually, like the dates are in number. So I have day, let's say 2, month 11, year
Let's like
2020.
someone is saying, don't say date many times, fingers get hurt.
Oh, that's
Sunny,
funny.
that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Okay, so let's test our function which we just built. Get dates, get all date formats. Okay, and we'll pass this the date object. Now understand here that this date object has numbers, and we have used string to build this, but we have used our helper function, which is convert date to string, in order to get that date in string. Okay, so let's see. We should be able to get dates in all of these formats. Okay, as you can see, we have this in ddmmyy format, mmddyy format, year first, month, then date, month, year. This is the last 2 digits of the date. So this is done, and this is done. So as you can see, we are able to generate all the formats of the date from the date object. And with this, our exercise number 4 is completed.
Let's do a quick revision till exercise number 4.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we built a reverse string function, which just takes a string and it returns the reverse of that. Now, then after that, we used our own reverse string function to check for palindrome. How did we do that? We took the original string and we compared it with the reverse string. If both are equal, we return true, otherwise we return false. Okay. So this way we console logged and we tested with all those palindrome strings, and we found that okay, our palindrome function and our reverse function is working perfectly fine. Then after that, this is the exercise 3. We built a small function, a helper function, which just takes a date which is in number and it converts into a date which has date object which has date, day, month, and year in strings. Now we took care of the 0 so that we have the valid date format even in strings, because if we just converted it into a string, we might lose this 0. Okay, so this is also we checked, we console logged, and
Kushank, why do we need convert date to string? Just asking because people might not understand.
So basically the idea is that we will be passing date as one format, which is something like this. Okay, but some of our functions might need this in a string. Okay, like this one. So this function, if I just do it in number, it will add up. So that won't work. So for that case, I have created a helper function so that we keep things separate and we can easily use it whenever it's required.
Yes, this will also, I think one thing which we need to understand here while doing this is that palindrome is done as a string and not as a number, right? So you have to have the entire thing as a string. So date is not a string. So we are first making date as string, also adding 0 wherever it is required. So those are the things which Kushank has done till now. If you have not understood, go back to the video to the starting and then go again with this. But that's what we are doing. So we are just taking a date, making sure there is 0 added if it's less than 10, and then converting it into string. So folks who are asking why .to string, it's to convert it to string, date.one to string.
And I could have done .to string here also, but it's not required. Why? Because if we add a string and a number, like here we are doing that only. We are adding a string and a number. What happens is that when you add a string and a number, the number is typecasted into a string, so we have the whole string. So JavaScript actually makes this a complete string. It's not like you get an error because this number is typecasted into a string. Then it's get concatenated with this one, and this is stored as a string. Okay. And here we had just the number. That's why this was a requirement. To string was a requirement. Okay. Okay. So this function we saw, it's just converting date into string. And after that, we built a function that gets us all the date formats. Okay. So we used our own helper function for this one. We got the date as string, and we have day, month, year. So we have all these formats, and we return this as an array. And we check this, that we are getting all the formats. Now we can use now we can run actually our palindrome function on these arrays, and we can find if any of them are a palindrome or not. Okay. So that was the quick recap. I'll quickly fold this function so I have better screen here. So this is done until exercise 4, and let's start with exercise 5. I think we can take a small break here after exercise 5, because this and exercise 6 and 7 will be building more logical, more in-depth logical functions.
Yeah.
So,
this one is little difficult as well, this exercise itself. So we'll take a little bit of break. Go ahead.
We can take break after exercise 5. This is a short one.
Sure.
Okay. Write a function to check palindrome for all the date formats. Use the previous function to get all the formats. So basically we will use this function which we just built to get all the formats. Then we'll run our own is palindrome function on all of them, and we'll just return if any of them is true or not. Okay. So let's get our function ready. We can name it check palindrome for all formats, for all date formats. And we'll get the date here. Okay. And we need to get all the array of formats. Okay. So we can just say list of palindromes, and we can just get dates in all format, and we can just pass the date. Now I'll have a small for loop. We'll just run over all of this list of palindromes. So how we can do is we can have a simple variable which will be false by default, because we'll use this to check in our for loop. Okay. So I'll run this for loop from 0 to the length of this list, which is actually 6, but we can just use the length, and I'll just do plus. Now understand that this get date all format returns a string. It returns an array like this. Okay, so each of these is a string. Okay? So we use our is palindrome to get. So we can just do we can check actually if this is palindrome, and we can do it this way, is palindrome, and we can pass we can pass each of the strings here, and we can do it this way, list of palindromes of height. So basically this for loop will iterate over this list, and this list will get each string will pass into palindrome. This palindrome will return as a boolean. This is a boolean, and because it's a boolean, we'll be able to use if over it, and we can say if any of it is true, we'll just do is palindrome equals to true, and we can just break the loop right here, because if any of them is true, we don't want to check for others. And we can just return is palindrome. So with that, we can test this function also. This function will basically get all the variations, have a small flag is palindrome, run a for loop on all the variations, check if it is palindrome for all of them, and if any of them is true, we'll get inside this if loop, because this will return a boolean value. Once it's true, we'll just set is palindrome to true, and we can just break right here. We can more optimize this function, but for now, for simplicity, this is okay. So let's get tested. Let's test this. Check date formats, and we'll pass this state object. Let me clear the console. I'll just run it. Is palindrome is not a function. So we can see line number 70. Line number 70. It's coming from line number 70 and line number 54. Line number 54. Okay. We did a big mistake. The name of this function is same as a variable that we have, and because of the variable shadowing, this variable is being accessed here. Like this function, this global function which is out of this function is not being accessed. This is being accessed. So we need to change this. We can just say flag for now. Flag true, return flag, and this should work now. Let's test this. Yeah. So if any or some variation of this whole thing is palindrome, we'll get it true. Let's test for a date which doesn't have any palindrome, and we can say 9/11. Let's test this. Okay, so this function is also working. We get the dates in all formats. We run a for loop on each string. We check if any of that string is palindrome. If it is palindrome, we just break the for loop right there and we return from the function. Okay, and with that, our check palindrome for all date function is also working. So with this, we have completed exercise 5, and should we take a break from here?
Yes, let's take a break. And also, can you share this REPL link in the chat?
Yeah, sure.
You won't be able to share it in YouTube chat. Just share it in my chat.
I'll
Zoom
share
chat.
it on. I'll share it on Zoom. Yeah.
Share it on Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share it. It's just shared. Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
So basically, you can try exercise 6 also if that is okay, but we will get with it when the break is over. And just after 6 and 7, the fun part will begin. We'll build the UI. Okay.
Yep. No, this one is
Yeah.
difficult. I totally agree. But then if you
Yeah.
break it, how you have broken it, Kushank, then it becomes very small thing. It's just few if else statements and few for loops here
Yeah.
and there. Yeah. So let's take a break. Can you put a 7-minute break? My God.
Okay. So let's reset it. Okay. I'll stop my screen share. Sorry, I'll stop my video and we can get back.
You can make this full screen.
Um, does
Here,
that
here.
happen on Mac? Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Start. You have to also start and share your screen. Now you stop sharing your screen.
Yeah. Just a second.
Cool. This looks good.
Yeah.
Start it. Let's see everyone after 7
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay. Tanay, are you there? Hello.
Yes, I am.
So should we begin?
Let's get started. Yes.
Okay.
Ju-
So I'll
Just
do a quick. Yeah.
your Notion. No, can you go to your Notion? So she is
Yeah.
saying it's not readable. Can you like zoom in a little bit on
Yeah.
this?
Sure. Sure. So
Yeah,
can we
this is.
share this link, Tanay? Can we share this?
Yeah, give it to me in chat. I'll share it.
Okay.
We'll also put this on the website.
Yeah.
Uh, but
I'm
for now,
sending on Zoom.
sure. I'll share it.
So I'll do a quick recap what we did
Yes.
until now, and then we'll start with the other two functions. This is a very simple reverse string function that we built, and we used our reverse string function to build our palindrome function. Then we built a helper function which takes a date object which has day, month, and year in numbers, and we just created our own date string object which had the same day, month, and year but in strings. Also, we took care of the zero. So this is our helper function, and we used our helper function in our get date all formats. So basically we wanted to have all the date formats so that we can check for all the variations, and we created that right here, as you can see, and we returned this format as an array. Okay, so this function is also done, and we basically use this function get all date formats for checking palindrome on all of these formats. So we simply ran a for loop on our all the format list which we got from this function, this list of palindromes, which might not be a palindrome, but let's have it. And then we ran a for loop on top of it, and we just break the for loop whenever we get a true value. So we just break the for loop and we return if it is true, otherwise we return false. So this is also done. Let me close this. And yeah, so until here we have done exercise 5. As you can see clearly now, I hope this is visible now. We are getting we are just returning true false, and push you may need, like I did this differently, but you can do it as an array, like you can append them in an array and you can return that, but this is a better approach I found. Okay. Now let's move to the exercise 6. Find the next palindrome date, and I'll put my code here so that you don't get confused. Live implementation. You can use this live implementation or you can do it this way also, both works. And let's move to the next exercise. Find the next palindrome date, also how many days are in this in between. So basically if we don't get a palindrome date from user, okay, we need to find the next palindrome date. Also, we just not that, we also need to find the difference, like how many days we missed. Okay, so for that, let's have a function which have let's name it get next palindrome date. Okay, and we pass in the date, and we can have other helper functions also, but for now we'll use this get next palindrome function. And in order to get the next palindrome date function, I like to break it in even more smaller pieces so that it's very easy to understand. We'll create a simple function which takes a date, increments a day, and returns the new date. Okay, let's have that function. It's a simple function. It has nothing to do with palindrome. It's just a function that increments the date, and I will name it get next date. Okay. This is a very simple function which takes a date as an object and it gives you the next date. Okay, so we have day here, which will be date dot day, and we'll increment the day by 1 because we want to get the next date. But we won't do this exact thing with month and year because those things depend on many other factors like leap year, let's say, or even months with 31 days, 30 days, right? So we'll take care of those also. But for now, we'll just have month here and we'll have year. Okay, so basically, this is our these are our day, month, and year. Now we need to check. What we need to check is that if day. So basically, we can have one more variable, days in month, and we can have 31 in January, 28 in February, 30 in March, 31 in March, sorry, 30 in April, 31 May, 30 June, 31 July, 31 August, 30 September, 31 October, 30 November, 31 December. So we'll use this array to map because we need to find that we need to have the last date when we increment. Suppose we increment from 30 to 31, right? We need to be sure, right, that that month has 30 or 31 days because we can't just keep increasing the date. Yes, we also have to take care of the month and the year. Okay, so
Kushank, Riddhi is asking, can you please once more explain why we increased date
yeah.
date dot day plus one? Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, sure. So basically, this is a very small function. It has nothing to do with palindrome. We are just using it to get the next date. Okay. So suppose today is 8th August. How do you get the 9th August? You add one to the date. You add one to the day, right? But it's not that simple. There are months. Suppose it was 31st August, right? Or 30th August. How would you get the next one? You'll have to take care of month also, year also. So if it is just one day addition, we can do it this way, but we need to take care of month and year also. We need to take care of leap year also. So we'll be taking care of those. And this is just I've done so that we first increase the day, then we take care of all other things, month, year, leap year, and all these things.
I think once you have taken care of everything, no, do a dry
Yeah.
run and show folks how
Yeah,
this is working.
sure. So let's see what we can do here. We have days in month. We can use this to map and we can get the month in date. And let's create a small leap year function so that we'll check if this is not a leap year, because depending on leap year, this value will change. It will be the 29 or 28. So let's have a leap year function. We'll pass in the year and we can have simple function here mark 400. We can do if year is divided by 100. If it is divisible by 100, which means it is not a leap year. Also, if the year is divisible by 4, which means it is a leap year. And in any other case, it is not a leap year. So this is a very simple leap year function. We can test it alone also. Let's just test this. We close this. Let's see, 2020 is a leap year. Yeah, it's true. And 2021 is not a leap year. False. So this our leap year function is very small function. We'll use it in get next state. Okay. Now, first we need to see if month is equal to 2, right? If it is February, we'll check for leap year and all. I can just comment it for now. Check for leap year. Okay. Let's build the other logic. We'll get back to it later. The other thing is that if the month is not 2, which means we'll use our this map. We can easily use it because now we know that it's not leap year. So this is perfectly valid now. Let's see. What we can do is we can say if day, because the day has been increased, and if day is greater than days in month of month. So basically we want to get the last, we want to get the maximum days in the month. Okay. And we want to check if the day exceeds that maximum days. Okay. How do we do that is we take the month, and because we are comparing by indexes, so this array starts from 0 to 11, right? This is not 0 to 12. So we need to take care of that. How do we take care of that? We just do a -1 here. Okay. Now basically what happens here is if the day exceeds the current day's maximum days, we know that it's gonna go to the next month. Okay. So which means day becomes 1, month increases, right? And yeah, that's it. So if the day exceeds the current month's maximum day, it goes to the next month's first day. Month increases, day becomes 1. So this is for the all the months other than February. And let's work for the February. So we first need to check if the year is leap. We'll just pass the year, and if it is leap, we'll do something else other than, and we'll do other things if it is not leap. Let's see what we need to do. If this is a leap year, we know that the number of days in month is 29. So we can just do if day is greater than 29, which means that day exceeds the maximum days in the month, which is 29, which means that the day goes to the next month's first day. So we can easily say day is 1, and we can increase the month. And for the else part, it is very simple. We just need to say day is greater than 28, because if it is not a leap year, the maximum day in February is 28. Now if it exceeds 28, again we know that it will go to the next month's first day. Again we can do the same thing here, month plus. So as you can see here, we are repeating three times this same logic. We can put it in a function also, and that later we can do, but for now let's have it for simplicity. So this is done, but here is a problem. Suppose the day is 31 and you increase the month, and it's 31 December, and you increase the month becomes 13, right? So if the month becomes 13, we need to take care of that. We need to increase the year. Okay, how do we do that? We just simply check if month is greater than 12. If the month is greater than 12, we can just set month to 1, and year, we can just increase the year and set month to 1, which means month goes to January, year increases, and our day stays the same because we have taken care of day here. We took care of month here. Now our whole day has been increased. Now we can just return an object where day is the day, month is the month, year is the year. You can do many optimizations here. We can have object destructuring also, but for this simplicity, I just have it this way. Now let's test if this is working fine. Let me clear things up.
Once you have tested, no, then let's comment the code as
Yeah.
well so that people can understand, because there's a lot of if else going on.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So get next. Let's see. We'll pass in the date object. For now, let's have some interesting date. Let's say 31st 31st January 2020. Right. So we should get the month 2 and day should be 1. Let's run this. So the month became 2. It's February now. The day is 1. The year is 2020. Now let's have even more interesting days. Let's say 28. And if 28 is this and February, it should be 29 because 2020 is a leap year. So let's test that also. And you can see, yeah, 29 is there. And if I put 29, this should go to the next month. And see, you can see that is also happening. So let me now comment the date. I'll check one more variation. Let's say this is the 31st December, and we want to go to the next date, which is the next year. So that is also working. And let me quickly comment this code. Check for February. And this is pretty simple. We are checking for leap year. So simply we are checking if the day which we have increased right here, if the day which we have increased exceeds the maximum days in the month. Okay, so how do we get that? We used our own days in month and array to map. Okay, and with that our get next date function is ready. I'll quickly close this because now we are going to build get next palindrome date. So this is the fun part. We'll put a date and we'll get the next palindrome date. How can we do this? Is we can have a simple variable. We'll keep count how far that palindrome date is. Okay, and let's see. We can say next date. We can use our own function get next date, and from here I'll just use an infinite loop and we'll keep checking until the next palindrome date. Okay, so first of all I need to increase the counter so that we keep track of how far that date is, because every time count increases, which means a new date is being increased. Okay, so for now we need to get let's see. Now we have a date here. How do we check for palindrome for a date? We use this. Okay, so check palindrome for all date formats. I can just say is palindrome and I can pass it the date which we have. And if is palindrome, which is true, if it is true, we just break the loop right here. Otherwise, we need to get we know that if it is not true, we need to check again. We need to advance again a more date, like we need to increase the date. We need to check for that. Again, we'll keep doing this until we get the palindrome. Okay. So for that, we can just do next date is equal to get next date, and we can get our date which is in the next date itself. So it's similar to how you increment the value, right? It's similar to this. You are saving date, you are saving the next date to this next date variable. Like every time you keep increasing the date, you save to the same variable so that you have the its access and you get it from here. And with that, we'll just return an array. Why array? Because we can return both of them, the counter and the next date. Okay. So this get next palindrome date is done. Let's test. So if this works fine, then we'll get the next palindrome date. We won't get any other date which is not palindrome. Okay. Let me run this. We have an error, line number 85. 85. So basically you can see this date 12/2/2021. If I write this date this way, 12/02 2021, right? If I remove this also, then you can see that this is a palindrome. Okay, so we got our next palindrome day, which is 43 days in future, right? So our date was 31st December, and we got a day which is 12th February 2021, which is 43 days in future, right? So this way our get next palindrome date function is working. I'll quickly recap this because the next thing we are going to build is similar to this, which gets the previous palindrome date. Okay, let me quickly recap this. So we have our helper function is leap here. There's nothing fancy here, and we have our another helper function get next date, which has again nothing to do with palindrome. It just advances the date, takes care of the month and the year, whatever increase is happening there, and it returns that date object. Okay, let me just remove this. And we are using both these functions in our get next palindrome date function. Okay, so with that, this function is complete. We can check for few more dates. Let's say 11th February. Right. So the next day is 22 February, which is 11 days ahead, right? So this way our get next palindrome date function is working. And with that, exercise 6 is complete. And Daniel, do we have any questions regarding this? Is this clear?
No, there are no questions. But I was thinking can we revise this, like whatever you did in get next palindrome date, and also comment on many lines so that when people go through this code again, they can understand. Yeah.
So this is our simple leap year checking function. This is a helper function we have used somewhere in our code. Okay, we don't need to worry about it. And this function just gets the next date. Okay, it has nothing to do with palindrome. We just give it a date, let's say 8th August, and it will give us 9th August. Similar way, if you give it 29th February, it will give us 1st March. Okay, and it takes care of any increase in month, it takes care of any increase in year. Okay, and we have used this like a map so that we can efficiently do this. Okay. And as I've said here, we are just checking if the day exceeds the max day in month. So if this is August and August has 31st days, if it is 32, then only we do something. Otherwise, we don't do anything. We just increase the day and we return the same month, the same year. If the day exceeds, then only we take care of month increase, then only we take care of year increase. Okay. And we also check for February, because for that we need, for here we have used our leap year. Okay. I think leap year will be better. Yeah. So,
we check for February and we check if in February. So I think on line number 85, no comments saying check for February on top. Yeah. So basically what we're doing is we're checking for February, and inside check for February, we check whether if it's a February, then we check for leap year.
Leap year.
If it's leap year, then we increase the month plus after day 29. And if it's not a leap year, then obviously it's a 28. If it's 28, then we increment the month. So I hope this is clear. This is actually, like, for a beginner, I'm sure this is tough to think about so many if else, and that's why I'm making you comment all of this.
Definitely.
So cool. So else check if the day exceeds the max days in a month. So if it's not February, so just close the line number 86, no, from the branching from 86, so that people can understand like what we are trying to do. From 86, can you?
This one.
Yes. Yeah. So see what we are doing, everyone. See.
Yeah.
If we go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we are saying check for February and then check for everything else. You can do it. You can do it other way also. You check for everything else and then check for February. So it doesn't matter.
Both ways. Yeah.
So check for other months. If other months if the day is exceeding the max day in that month. Now, how do we know the max day in that month? By using the where days in month, line number 83. Okay. Yeah. And
this
why
is
do
a
we
smart
do
way to do it. Yeah, this is a smart way to do it. We could have hard coded, we could have lots of if else, right? But this way we can do it efficiently.
Yeah. So line number 104, why are we doing month -1? Someone asked. It's because we want to have the index, and index is 0. Index starts of an array. Index starts from 0. This is very important. If you don't know this, you will get stuck in programming.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a meme. Yeah. So programmers count from 0. So day equals 1, and then you do month plus. When do we do day 1 and month plus? Only when the day is greater than days in month, right? If month is greater than 12, then what we are doing, increment the year. So first we check whether we are passing the month. Then we check, is it possible that it's 31st December? If it's 31st December, and then we want to check from there, then if month is greater than 12, then month equals 1. So this entire thing is inside check for other months. So what we do is we check for February, then we check for other months. In checking for other months, we check for we increment the day, but if the month was 12, then we also increment the year. Okay, then it becomes 1 January next year. Right, 1st January next year. So that's what we are doing. How do we make 1st January by month equals 1? So if we do month equal once, it becomes January. If we do year plus, then the year has increased. Now, where are we making 1st of January? In line 105. See, in line 105, we are making 1st. Then 112, we make January. In 113, we make next line. This is, I am sure if you are a beginner, it's hard to understand, but if you read the code slowly, efficiently, with time, you will understand this. 1st of January, first we do on line number 105, then 112 we make January, and then 113 we increment the year. This entire thing runs only in case you were on 31st of December. If you were on 30th of November, then line 111 will not come, right? Just the day will be increased, and the month will be increased. So you
Stay
will be
same.
1st of December, right? So
Yeah.
do a dry run, no Kushank, so that people can
Yeah.
understand this.
Okay. So I'll have, let me close this. Um,
Like take like 3 days.
okay.
15th August, 28th February 2020, and then like just write down in comments somewhere these 3 dates, and then 15th August this year, 2021, and then 28th February 2022, 2020, sorry, 2020, yes, and 2020, and then say 31st December 2020. Let's
Okay.
do a dry run.
So
Yeah.
yeah, let's start with the first one. So basically, this is 15 August 2021. What happens is, let's say the day is 15, the month is 8, the year is 2021. Now, first of all, what we do is we increment the day. Okay. So here, the day becomes 16. Okay. Because we are starting with day 15, we incremented 1. The day is now 16. The month is the same. The year is the same. Okay. Now we know that the month is 8, so it will not go inside this if. It will check for other months. Okay. So in other months, we check if day, which is 16, if 16 is greater than days in month of month minus 1, month minus 1, which means 8. Just a second. 8 minus 1, which is 7. So we have 7 here as our index. So what is on 7th position? 31. Okay. So basically, is 16 greater than 31? Which is false, right? 16 is not greater than 31. It will not go inside this safe else. It won't even increase the month. It won't do day to 1. Okay. We'll go out of this safe else. Again, we'll check if month is greater than 12, which is not the case. Month is again 8. We haven't touched the month, right? We just increased the day. So simply it won't go even inside this, and it will just return the whole object, whole and new date object. So it will have 16/8/2021. Let me run this and we'll have the answer here. So see, it didn't increase month, it didn't increase year, it just increased the day. So the first example we did, let's do with the second one.
Someone is asking, but why did we increase the date? Because that's the function. We want to find out when is the next palindrome date. Say my birthday is 30th June 1990. Now my birthday is not a palindrome, so I want to go and tell my mom कि अगर आपने मुझे 10 दिन बाद किया होता तो मेरा birthday palindrome होता, right? I want to go and complain because I'm a complain baby. That's why I want to know how many days here or there I would have in a palindrome, just for fun. Nothing serious. Nobody uses these kind of things. It's just for fun. You want to practice these if else and all of that. That's why we
It's
are doing.
basically for logic building, right?
Yep.
Okay. So first date we saw. Let's test the second one, which is 28. So 28 February 2020. Now this year is a leap year. Okay, which means that the leap year will also come. So let's try it. And day is 28. We increment the day. Day becomes 29. Okay. The month is 2. So if we go inside, so it won't go inside this cell. So I'll just close this. We go inside this else. Again, we check for leap year. The year is 2020, right? The year is 2020, which means this will return true, which means it will go inside this. Again, is day greater than 29? No, day is 29. Day is not greater than 29. Okay, so this will return false. So it won't go inside this. It won't go inside this. It will just won't go inside this if else condition, and we are out of this whole if else check. Okay. So until here, our day is 29, our month is same, our year is same. So our month is 2, right? 2, 2 is not greater than 12, right? It's false. It won't go inside this. The month will become, there won't be any modification with year, and it will just return that day. So the day will be 29, the month is same, the year is same, right? And let's test this one also. See. Okay, sorry, I did two. So this is also working.
Kushank, you got stuck. Is it just me or is Kushank stuck for everyone else?
Next year, which will be day 1, month 1, year will be 2021. Okay.
You got
And
stuck in between.
is it okay now?
It's okay now. Yeah.
Okay. So this was clear, right? The 28th February 2020.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So for now, we are going to check for the last example, 31st December 2020. The day is 31, month is 12, year is 2020, which means that the day will increase to 32. Okay. We are just doing simple position. The 11th index is 31. Is day greater than 31?
Kushank, you got stuck again. You have to start from the top once more.
Okay. Check. Just let me check the internet. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start again. The day is 31. The month is December. The year is 2020. Okay. And we incremented the day by 32, which is a red flag. We can't have a date as 32. The month is 12. So we won't go inside this if else. We'll go inside the other one. And the month is 12, which means 12 minus 1 is 11. So we check for the last index. The last index 31. And here 32 is greater than 31 because our day is now 32. So we go inside this if else. We make the day 1. We increment the month. Okay. So before month was what? Month was 12. Month was 12. And we incremented it. Now it became 13. Okay. So now our day is 1. Our month is 13. That is also a red flag. So we check that here. If the month is greater than 12, yes, 13 is definitely greater than 12. So we go inside this if else. We make the month 1 and we increment the year. Okay. So what happens that year, which was 2020, it now becomes 2021. So we have day 1, month 1, year 2021, right? We made the day 1 here. We changed the day here. We changed the month here. We again changed the month here because we can't have 13 as a month. We changed the year here and we have our new year object. Let's test this one and I'll run it. Yeah. So all the examples are working and this function get next state is working. I hope it is clear now.
Yes, it's very much clear. Thank you, Kushank, for
Yeah,
spending
yeah.
so much time explaining
No
it
issues.
with such patience. Now let's go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah, let's go ahead. So I'll clear I'll clear some of the comments, not all. I'll have the code so that I'll just get rid of this.
Just want to say that if you are
Okay.
watching this later after the live, please like the video. Kushank has worked beautifully explaining everything. Like to banta hai bhai.
Okay. So using our leap year function and our get next date function, we have built our get next palindrome date function, which is the actual thing which we wanted to build. But because if we put all the logic in one, it would get so large. That's why I have split it out. And now you can see that this is a pretty small function. We get the next date using our next date function. We run an infinite loop. We have a counter and we keep increasing the counter every time we get a new date. And we use our own check palindrome for dates format function, which we created above here, which is actually, it's like a staircase, or every function that I'm creating is based on previous created functions. So you can see this is based on this, this is based on this, this is based on this. So it's like if you keep working from the top, you will have a very big you will have a very big functionality which is, distributed into smaller chunks. It's more understandable that way. And let's test this. So we want to get the next palindrome date. Right now it's 31 and the month is 12. So the next palindrome date is 12, month 12, and the year is 2021. So this date is palindrome. How far it is? It is 43 days in ahead of today, right? Which date today is? Today is 31st December. So this way we can get the next palindrome date. Let's find the next palindrome date from today. So today is 8th August 2021. And let's find the next palindrome date from now. So next palindrome date is 12th October. 12th October is a palindrome date, which is 96 days ahead of it. So I hope this is clear. The get next palindrome date is clear. And
Yes.
okay, so I'll move with the next one. Yeah, because we are running out of time also. So okay. So our next exercise is find the previous palindrome date. Also, how many days are in between. So basically, these two are quite similar. This one, exercise 6, we were finding the next date. For exercise 7, we are finding the previous date because we don't want to miss any date in past also. Like, right, we want to find the smallest one. So how do we find? We'll compare the days taken, right? So for now, let's just build a function which gets the any palindrome date which is in the past. Okay. So
I
for
think
that,
we can put this as a homework,
okay,
uh,
okay,
as an
yeah,
exercise for everyone else.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's the same
so
thing, just you have to go back.
yeah, you have
Right.
to you can use the same leap year function, and you'll have to build your own get previous date function only. That this is the
Right.
difference, and for this one the logic will be exactly similar. Okay, so I think, yeah, that will be good because you'll get to build your own previous dates. So you can take help from here and you can build your own get previous date function. And okay, then I will quickly move this as exercise.
For people watching this video, For levelZero, you don't need to submit the previous palindrome date because already your program is big, but this is a bonus. As Kushank has said, this is a bonus. This is not mandatory to submit. Go ahead, Kushank.
Okay. Okay. So let's come to the fun part. Now we are going to build the UI. Our functions are ready. Let me clean this. And let me just code these functions. So we have a cleaner function here. Okay. Palindrome birthday. So now I'll just have a simple input, which will be of type date, and ID we can say birthday input. Let's just run and see if this is coming. Yeah. So, but that won't do the work. We also need to have a button, because on press of that button will show the next palindrome date. So let's see, we can have a button show. The button ID we can keep show button. And we also need to have a div or a paragraph, we can say, where we will, show that message to the user if it is palindrome, or if it is not, then how far the next palindrome is. So I can just have a quickly paragraph tag. Use ID, we can say result. So let me run this. Now we'll quickly check the wiring. How we can check is, we'll have the reference here. First is our input reference. So let's say birthday or date input ref. I'll quickly select this birthday input. And we have a button here. So show button ref. Which is actually show button. Now, in order to check the wiring, we need to put a event listener on this button. Okay, so whenever I click on that button, that event fires. So I'll just quickly register an event listener, and I will have function. And this, so whenever I click on this button, this click handler will be called. Okay, so I'll build my click handler now. So as you remember, whenever you pass a callback function to this add event listener calls that function with an event object. Okay, so we don't need that, but we can have it here because we'll be taking the input directly from the date input ref. But this is how it works, and we can just quickly console log date input ref and value. Yeah. So with that, let's test this. So if I put a date and if I click on show, you can see that the date is coming. So this whole wiring is working. We have our HTML, we have our JavaScript, and we are on click of button, we are logging the date. Okay. Now we will build our function on, we will actually join all the pieces. We have all these functions that we have built above. We'll use them in our click handler. Okay. So basically we need to first have that string, and we can say the same thing we just console logged right here, which is value. Okay, so birthday string we get here, we get from date input ref. Now we can't work on an empty string, right? So we need to take care of if this string is empty. How do we do that? We can just say birthday string not equals to an empty string, right? Any logic we do will do only if this string is not empty. Okay, now first of all we'll build our date object, but understand that this is a string which has separators as hyphen. So we'll actually split them by hyphen so that we have year, month and date. Okay, so let's see how we can do this. We can have list of dates. A better name would be yeah, this is okay, list of date, and I can just say birthday string, and I will split it by the hyphen. Now let's console log and see what is coming actually. Now as you can see, I'm clicking here, nothing is happening because we are taking care of an empty string, right? So for now this is empty string, no issues here. We are taking care of that. Now if I select a date and if I click on show, you can see that we are getting an array of strings. So first is the year, second is the month, and the third is the date. Okay, so this order will take care of this order, and we'll build our date object, and which will be day will have list of date. The day is the last one, so 0 1 2, the index 2 is day. Month is list of date, month will be 1, and the last thing we need to take care of is year, so list of date year. Okay, now let's console log and see what is actually happening here. So I'll select a date and I'll click on show. Now you can see that we are getting the date in exact format. We have our day, month and year. Okay, now this is in string. Okay, but most of our functions work when date is a number. Okay, so we can use the number method to make this a number. Now we'll get this date as number. Let's test that also and see. The day is 17, the month is 8, the year is 2021. So until here, do we have any questions regarding this then? Because now we'll implement the core logic of this palindrome that we have built above.
No. We don't have any question on the chat right now.
Okay, I think this is pretty straightforward. We are just taking the input from the user and we are just converting it in number, and we are just showing it. We are just console logging it. All right. So first we'll check is palindrome. We'll have a palindrome variable. And how do we check if a date is palindrome? We pass this to our function check palindrome for all dates format. Now we don't need to worry about anything else because everything else we have tested before this. So everything will fit in pieces. Okay. So let's test this. We have it here and we pass in the date. And we can just console log this one. So if I take any date, and if it is palindrome in any case, it will return true. So for that, let's take a date which is actually a palindrome. I think, yeah, 2 February is a palindrome. Yeah. So we are getting the palindrome, but we also need to take care of, okay, so if this is a palindrome, we'll show a message to the user, and that message we can show using our paragraph tag, right? So if you look closely, we have a paragraph tag here. It is empty, and we will use JavaScript to add a message here. We have an ID as result, so we'll use this ID. You can say result ref. We select that paragraph, and if it is palindrome, we can just say result left dot inner text. Right. So let's see if we select a palindrome date. You can see that we are able to show that it is a palindrome, right? Now we also need to take care of if it is not a palindrome, and for that we just need to have an else condition here. And how we do is that we will get the next state. Okay, we'll get the next state which is actually a palindrome. So we can say let's say, so see this function that we have, get next palindrome date, actually returns an array. Okay, this array, which is actually an array of counter, like how many days it is in the future, and the next date, which is actually a palindrome. So we can get it this way: ctr and next date, get next palindrome, and we pass in the date. So we don't need to worry about anything else. Our functions that we have built before are going to work fine. We will get the counter, then we'll get the next date. Okay, now we will just use this. We will show a message to the user. We can do a little bit of formatting here, and because I'm using ternary operator, I can easily format my string. Okay, so first thing we can show is that, because as you can see, the next date is a date object, so we can do a dot date on it, dot day, dot month, dot year, and we can also show you missed it by how many days, ctr days, right? Sad emoji. So basically this is done. We take a date, we show the next palindrome date is 12/11/2021. You missed it by 94 days. Now let's go to that day, which is 12/11/2021, which is actually 12 December, right? 12 plans. No, it's 12 November. Yeah, so birthday is palindrome. So until here, this is working. Our wiring is working. We are using our functions built before to piece to join all the logic, and we are getting the data from user. We are first checking if the date we got from user is palindrome. If it is, we do nothing. We just show, yeah, your birthday is palindrome. If it is not, we get the next count. We get the next date, which is palindrome, using our own function, which we built, right? So this way we get the next palindrome function, and we get the counter, and we show this message to the user. And with that, our last exercise is also done. So Tanay, should I take a quick review of this?
Yeah, let's do a quick review. I think this is pretty clear because this we have been doing for past 3 exercises, right? But
Yeah.
do a quick review. Yeah, go ahead.
Definitely. Yeah. So simple. This is simply we take an input from user. We show that input. When we click on this show button, right? Let me close this. This is our event listener. On the show button, we do an add event listener on click, and this click handler gets called. Okay. Now inside this click handler, we get the birthday string from date input ref dot value. So if you remember, if this is an input tag, when we do a dot value on it, we get its value, right? So we get a value something like this. We get a value something like this: 2020, the year, then the month, then the date, right? This is the kind of input we get from HTML input, which is not that useful for us. So we actually need to break it. We do it with split. Okay. So here we get it like this. Okay. So this is how we split it. Now we remember the order. The first one is year, second is month, the third is date. So with that order, we actually convert it into number using the number, and we get day, month, and year. And this way our date object is, this is how we build our date object. Now our date object has day, month, and year in number, and because all other functions that we built takes date as number, so we'll use this state. We pass into check palindrome for all date formats. We pass in the date, we get the result, and we store it in is palindrome. Now if it is palindrome, we show result, yeah, your birthday is palindrome. We set the inner text, and else we, if it is not palindrome, we need to get the next palindrome date. So we use our own function which we built, get next palindrome date. We pass in the same date, and this function will do whatever it is doing, and it will get us the date. And sorry for that. And this way we get the date and the counter. And the counter is how many days from today, right? From how many days from today the next palindrome date is. And using template literal and little bit of formatting, we show that to the user. So that's all for this. You can check.
All dots connected. Sandeep is saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this was humongous. Yeah, this was huge.
Yeah.
170 lines, and there was so much if, else, this, that. So I can totally understand if people didn't understand this or did not get this in one go. Please watch the video again. The code is saved. It will be also available on the website and on GitHub as well. So you won't have the problem. You can always refer back. If you don't understand this in one go, that's perfectly okay. You can copy and understand it with time, right? You don't have to come up with all the logic ones. I'm sure Kushank didn't think of it just now.
No,
he also had his own practice.
It took
right?
It took time. Yeah.
Yep. So it takes time. If you're a newbie, it would take a lot more time. but programming is about giving that time. Nobody pays you lakhs and lakhs of rupees
Yeah,
because it's easy. People pay you because it's hard. If you can't do the hard things, and this is why I have added these things in this neogcamp, because a lot of people are ready to come in because they think just if they get entry into neog, the problem will be solved. But Kushank, right, how tough the
yeah,
camp is 10x tougher than this. So
exactly.
definitely this is a good filter for folks. Do not give up. Give time, spend time, learn all of this. If you can learn, if you can understand, even after watching this video twice, you are on a good path. But if you give up, then you are not made for coding. I'm really sorry to say that. Not everyone is. So cool. So Sunny is saying, after watching this tough session, I'm highly motivated. Wow.
I think
And
the first time I tried this question when I was in camp, it took me
Mhm.
about 1 day to come up with a good logic. Like the whole day I spent on it and I got like this, okay, this thing works. So like that time you think won't get wasted. That actually builds that memory, that muscle memory of coding, right? So
Exactly.
spend some time with it, like give it like 2 3 hour 3 or 4 hours of your effort, and that will be very fruitful.
Yep. And if you have any question, Kushank is there on the Team
Yeah,
Tane
yeah,
Discord server. Please
definitely.
ping him. Feel free to know that he is working now, so he won't be available all the time. But do ping him, do trouble him a little bit. This was
Yeah,
great, Kushank. Once again, thank you. Do you want to say that?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
sure,
share,
sure,
subscribe
sure.
for my
Yeah,
channel.
yeah,
Go ahead.
definitely. Yeah. So first of all, this is an amazing opportunity. I got to code live in front of all of you, and I love this. I love the energy in, and yes, this was a bit logic heavy app, and it wasn't that much of visual fun, but I hope you get the taste of like how you break a bigger problem into smaller chunks and you solve them. And if you get a little any value from it, please do like, share, and subscribe. Support Tane in his journey to get folks placed at amazing places, no matter where they come from, no matter what they have. And this is an amazing community neoji camp. Just stay there, stay strong, keep coding, and you'll get there.
Thank you, Kushank. That was very well said. And with
Thank you,
that, we
Sunny.
will end our live session. Have a great
Yeah,
night. We meet
yeah.
again next Saturday, 8 p.m. To do the next exercise for neogcamp.